We're going to revise quickly on the D major shape and the D minor shape because the relevance of these two chords tie in perfectly with what you just learnt in the first video from Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. So the entire phrase, which went something like this, that phrase you just learnt, we're going to tie in now with the D major and D minor shapes we just mentioned at the beginning of the video. Okay, now first of all, D major, you can hear the notes. D minor, you can hear the notes. All that's changed is that makes it a major, that makes it a minor. Now there is a long theoretical explanation about major thirds and minor thirds and intervals. I'm not going there in this video. I want to get into playing. So one more time, major, so that's the shape we used for the major shapes if you recall from the first video, and minor, and there's your minor shape that we used from the first video. We got that, okay. So one more time, major shape, we can slide it. This is D major, E major, F major, G major. So this is movable. Very important. These shapes are movable. And it gives a very cool sound. And then a minor sound. And the same concept. D minor, E minor, F minor, and so on. And they come from the basic D minor and D major shapes. Now the next step is we're going to look at Hotel California, for example, and we're going to see how can I change a Bon Jovi styled riff from the late 80s into a classic early 70s blues rock song. B minor is the opening chord, and to the F sharp 7th for Hotel California. And you'll notice if you listen carefully, there's an open string. There's the open first string at the bottom, and all that's really happening if you look carefully, there's the B minor, so you know how to place your fingers. All that happens is they move one string up. Okay, that's the first part of the lesson. Now we're going to say to ourselves, so what? How do I make this user friendly? Now let's take the minor shape we just had a look at, and you play the minor shape here. This over here is B minor, because that's your root note where the third finger is. Okay, third finger's on the root note, that's B, B minor. And I've got the major shape with the third finger now on the 7th fret, which is now F sharp. And we're going to say, well, okay, I know the song's in B minor, so I've got B minor pentatonic, for example. And I'm going to sit and see how I can make a nice, cool phrase complementing the B minor chord. That sounded quite sweet. And that comes from the minor shape. One more time from a different angle there, a bit closer. And off the guitar a bit, get comfy. Okay, B minor pentatonic, I'm in 7th fret there. And it leads to a very nice melodic double stop. And it's melodic because the notes complement the chord. B minor, B minor, B minor. So I've learned how to work up the fretboard. And then when I go to the F sharp, that works quite nicely, and you can hear how nice those chords lead into the F sharp. One more time. B minor into F sharp. And here's your chords. And of course I can make the phrasing around it. So when I say phrasing, I mean how do I get to this target notes any way I like, and go. I can do a few more notes like this. I can do a lot more notes. And then I can do a nice slow phrase into F sharp, or I can go faster. So there's no sort of absolute on how fast you should go, but what we want to learn here is minor shape, major shape, and I want to see where do I find my chords. So again, what we're learning from this, if I zoom out, going back to the beginning of the video, and this is where the main lesson is all about. You've got a D major chord. If I go up, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, there's my notes, my scale, and I've got my notes. If I wanted B minor, I could start with D minor and go D, E, F, G, A, B. So I'm learning over here that I can move my chords. Very important lesson, you can move your chords. Now, the next two chords for Hotel California, for example, are A and E. And A I can play here, and E I can play there. But I can also play A over here. Correct, and I can play E over here. So now I can go, if I keep in mind my A sits over here, and again, those two notes forming part of my chord. And that's what I learned here. Same shape. So again, I'm repeating myself a lot. I can't stress enough. Learn your shapes. Learn that you can move your shapes and then tie the shapes into your chords and scales. Okay, so one more time. A, target notes. B minor pentatonic. Works really cool. So the shape from the chords give me my target notes. And then I'm going to go into an E over here. Works quite nicely. Now obviously there is more than one way to play E. I can play E over here. Whole lot of different ways to play different chords. But for this lesson we're working with two shapes. Your minor shape and your major shape. And we're learning that those two notes for this exercise give us really cool double stops. So that's your mission right now. And one more time, B minor to F sharp. And we're going to go to A to E. So you can see now your major shape for the E, for example, your minor shape for the B minor, and then later there's the E minor and, but we're learning how to adapt the shapes. Okay, we got that. So please learn the riff. It's a cool riff. I would like to hear you play this end of the day. One more time through, thanks to Richie Sambora. You want to learn that? And if you want the rest of the song, drop me a WhatsApp and I'll happily send it to you. And then your other goal that you wanted to achieve is that you've learned major shape, minor shape. You've learned to come from the D major shape, D minor shape. And we've learned that we can move these. And we've also learned the importance of I must know the notes on the different strings. Because if I don't know what the name of the note is on this string, I don't know what chord I'm playing here, do I? But if I know the name of this string is the B string and I can go down to a G sharp, I know I've got G sharp minor. So I need to know my string names as well. So there's a whole lot of things we can learn over here. But most important again, major shape, minor shape, double stops. And then obviously that chicken picking technique that I just want to go through one more time again before I say goodbye. Just in case you missed it from the first video. And you're using pick for the top and the first finger for the bottom. There you can see nicely the movement of the fingers there. Hope you can have a lot of fun with this. It means we need to know the names of the chords, very, very important. And you can get some really cool phrases out of this. Hope you enjoy, have a good week. Any questions? You know how to find me.